What is socially accepted when you are beautiful but not accepted when you're ugly? Story 1. Just being polite all the time. There was this James back when I was in high school, and everyone often made fun of him for his looks, how strange and obnoxious he was, etc. Though I made an effort, I'd be lying if I claimed I loved having him around. He remarked, "Don't feel that way," while I was discussing how uncomfortable I was feeling in class one day. "You are stunning." I then said thank you. However, everyone else in the area chuckled. A buddy of mine was described as gorgeous by a more handsome boy in the same class. Everyone said, "Oh, how sweet, you two should go on dates." James' post-high school life is unknown to me, but I hope he's doing well. Nobody should be treated that way. Story 2. Being a criminal sometimes. I recall the time when that attractive ex-con was making the rounds on the internet. Whomever secured a modeling deal. In a recent show, he walked for a well-known designer. I don't know, guy. I only recall people attempting to defend whatever he did by pointing to his attractiveness. Story 3. Researching a person's personal information to help you locate them again. When you look unattractive, you stalk others. Being romantic is what you do when you're hot. Those are hits. Will Smith locates the workplace of Eva Mendes and sends a delivery person there to bring a wetsuit and take Eva Mendes's precise measurements. He was being affectionate. You wouldn't be thought of as romantic, but in all honesty, I believe that is simply romantic. And movies, particularly the one about precise measures. Gee, it is annoying how someone's behavior may be classified as stalking if they are not considered to be conventionally beautiful, yet those who are given a pass and are considered romantic, regardless of who is doing it, I find it a little unsettling that someone would find out my precise dimensions and send me a wetsuit. Story 4. My sister and I refer to ourselves as Princess Diary. We are attractive due of our frizzy, curly hair, but we also look well when it is straightened. During the first week of our 2-week experiment, we experimented with sweating, wearing nice attire, straightening our hair, applying makeup, and not wearing any scent. I wish there were movies about us since men and women viewed us so differently. In the first week, people were rude to me, let doors slam in my face, and ignored me. Second week, I was greeted with smiles, doors held, calls from Honey, and invitations to go out with employees. Even my coffee and donut were covered. Anyone who asserts that appearances are unimportant is delusional. Story 5. Being strange. An handsome person can get away with a lot of quirkiness, peculiarity, and psychotic conduct, but an unattractive person would not be able to. In a sociological experiment, when males chatted to her, a catfish profile of a stunning blonde was developed. The catfisherman gave the most odd, off-the-wall, frightening comments in response, but the lads persisted in pursuing. If it's coupled with hotness, people will put up with a lot of quirkiness, being eccentric as opposed to being what's wrong with him or her. That is my issue with oddball TV characters. While the ugly ones are seen as essentially improper freaks, the pretty ones are viewed as adorable and wonderful. The Big Bang Theory's Amy, if you will. But she would probably be a very different persona if she had Kaylee Cuoco's appearance. Similarly, clumsiness. If the female is gorgeous, it's seen as adorable, but if they're ugly, they're treated like something less over. It's interesting to note that handsome men are seldom awkward themselves. Evidently, that would reduce their attractiveness. It's a complicated and often unsettling phenomena when people's perceptions of others are impacted by the question of appearance. It's true that when a person is thought beautiful, people tend to put up with a lot of eccentricity and crazy behavior, but the same conduct would be unacceptable in a person deemed ugly. The ways that appearance may unjustly influence how people are regarded and treated must be acknowledged and challenged. It's imperative that we go beyond quick judgments and instead put our attention on getting to know individuals for who they are, regardless of how they seem. Story 6 is about being there and interacting with others. C is a man who works there. C has a terrible appearance. He has red hair. He is balding, but his back and sides are still rather long. He doesn't trim the hair on his nose. He always has a pot belly that is crimson or pink. And yes, he does chat a little bit too much and hangs about your desk. The issue is that we all sometimes overstay our welcome at cubicles or other places. Everyone at work finds him to be spooky. They all believe he'll open fire or ultimately be forbidden from entering a school zone. Sincere to say, Scene is a great guy. He's the typical geeky, virgin, 40-year-old male According to Facebook, he has a large number of friends and hardly any colleagues. He continues to play his pals, and he go out to bars with various softball and bowling teams. And everything seems to be quite normal as far as I can tell. He's a genuinely kind man, and we sometimes chat. He acknowledged that I was the first one to visit him when I went to his desk. He arrived here maybe 6 months ago. It's really too bad for him that people have this opinion of him. I'm certain that if he were more attractive, had hair, and were skinnier, people wouldn't find him weird at all. When I read your description of him, Louis C.K. is all I can think of. I don't understand why people who really mean it when they say things like he's probably going to shoot up the place don't instead choose to be very kind to that person, additionally saying anything negative about someone but not really meaning is rude. It's really upsetting to learn that someone is being rejected and judged only on the basis of their looks. It's crucial to keep in mind that everyone has a unique narrative and problems, and we should make an effort to treat everyone with kindness and compassion. It's wonderful to hear that you spoke with Scene and that you thought he was a decent man. People like you are what we need. Story 7. I would say I do agree with others, but I wink seductively. If you're unattractive, almost anything is socially undesirable. To increase the allure, wink while simultaneously moving both of your eyes. God forbid. I believed I had thought of it first. This is how the discussion unfolded. She seems to be after me. She gave me a quick double wink. What? Did she give you 2 winks? Yeah. Both eyes at the same time. Why do I ever consider you to be serious? Story 8. Poor at your work. Truth. I had a coworker named Fabio. He had a lovely face, long, wavy hair, and was in his early 40s. It seemed as if a statue of a Roman commander was based on him. Guy was a bad employee. When I visited his workplace, he was always watching a movie. We found 6 months of work after he departed. He just didn't do anything. He put in a lot of effort for approximately 2 years, earned a reputation as a hard worker, and then quickly coasted off of that and his excellent looks. When he did that hair flip thing with ladies, they would virtually go all Elvis fanatic over him. Well, it's sad to hear about Faye because regardless of work ethic or lack thereof, it may be difficult to collaborate with those who don't do their share and don't support the team. But I suppose it's not shocking to learn that a person with attractive appearance may get away with a lot at work. Even if it's unjust, it nevertheless occurs. However, I do worry how long someone can get away with doing a job poorly simply because they are attractive. Story 9. Keep pursuing your crush tenaciously, at least in motion pictures. This one has previously been put here a few times, and I feel like it's more of a thing that people get away with in movies. And the characters in movies are often more attractive than the ordinary person. I can promise you that stalker behavior is bad, regardless of how hot the person is. Story 10. Being reserved or reserved. You are adorable, nice, or reserved if you are gorgeous. If you are unattractive, you are unattractive, you are uncomfortable, scary, or unlived. This may be the case, but if you are also gorgeous and reserved, people may mistake you for a haughty witch. Agreed. I was called an ugly oddball in high school since I wore spectacles and had no friends. I trimmed my bangs and went to contacts halfway through high school. Although I was shocked by how different I seemed, I was even more shocked by how differently I was treated. The more people spoke to me, the more they concluded that I was arrogant and felt I was superior than everyone since I am introverted and have some social anxiety. What's the deal? I've seen both sides of this one. While ugly individuals are more likely to be referred to be bookish or geek, which may not sound fantastic but typically implies intellect, introverted, attractive people are more likely to be described as stuck-up or aloof. It's fantastic that you had the opportunity to try out many appearances before settling on one that gave you a more relaxed feeling. But it's unfair that because of that, people instantly concluded you were a prick. The fact that introverted, beautiful individuals are classified as one thing while ugly ones are categorized as whole other things is undoubtedly a double-edged sword. Story 11. I'm sure there are more attractive individuals who get away with having bad attitudes. Drax, the Guardians of the Galaxy, perfectly summed it up. When someone loves them, ugly people are fortunate. They are aware that the reason is within. Beautiful individuals are impossible to judge. I choose to not be wealthy for this reason. I had made that decision. Story 12. Dressing inappropriately or in more exposing attire. People will assume an unattractive person shops at Value Village if he is dressed in 90s or rose-colored apparel. If a handsome man does so, he is regarded as a vintage dresser. The same is true for dressing in apparel that is at the cutting edge of fashion. Story 13. Taking off your shirt. Living in a trailer park is a fairly socially acceptable situation. Is it hot? Randy, you are the expert I turn to for advice on cheeseburgers or not wearing a shirt. I'll be here to continue. The Sundance Cheeseburger and Cassidy. Story 14. Making a lot of eye contact or smiling at strangers is described. People in the American South and Midwest are unaware of this, since smiling is considered politeness. I immediately grin whenever I establish eye contact, which is typically unintentional. Most individuals respond with smiles. This has nothing to do with beauty. Although I am not bad, I am not attractive. Story 15. Oddly, I'm a pretty pleasant and amiable person in general, yet I'm rude to the opposing gender. Men used to continually go out of their way to make sure I know they weren't interested in me when I was obese. Despite the fact that I had previously been in a relationship and hadn't shown any overt signs of desire, everyone is a lot kinder now that I've dropped weight. Same thing occurred to me. After high school and your first year of college, you lost weight. Girls who in high school didn't give me a second thought made an effort to communicate to me and keep in contact with me online. It's bad that males felt the need to make their disinterest in, when you're overweight, even if you weren't giving them any signs of desire. It's unfair to believe that simply because you're being amiable and nice, someone is attracted to you. On the other hand, it's good that you're getting different treatment now that you've dropped weight. It's unfortunate that our culture places such a high value on looks, but it's crucial to keep in mind that everyone deserves genuine love and respect, regardless of how they seem. Story 16. In my high school class, this lovely girl once farted. Some of the football guys embraced her and thought it was fantastic, and others found it to be humorous. Later that year in English class, a fat female who let a ripper go was made fun of, called nasty, and teased. A female who was overweight and unsightly and who farted and sneezed simultaneously in class was my classmate. Before she went away, she endured 2 more years of being referred to as a sneeze fart by everyone. Story 17. If you are really unattractive, all you do is make others feel uneasy. If you are gorgeous, people will usually go out of their way to tell you that you are. This girl on my Facebook is a 10 out of 10 and a professional model. I look dreadful in this image, and there are waves of people telling me that I'm not attractive in any of her pictures. Please ask me out. Me. I really don't look well in this picture. Others, you seem awful. Story 18. The one I came to say is this. Typical muscleheads or stupid blondes continue to appear foolish and nasty. You continue to appear foolish and nasty. Story 19. Giving a semi-serious response, people are psychologically more likely to think someone attractive is skilled at whatever they are claiming to be excellent at despite having no proof. In fact, a phenomenon known as the halo effect asserts that a person's attractiveness is accompanied by a variety of other favorable qualities. We have a propensity to believe that attractive individuals are funnier, friendlier, smarter, more intriguing, and have superior social skills. We also tend to believe that our warmer people are more interesting, poised, and even more independent. Although it's normal to be attracted to gorgeous individuals, it's crucial to keep in mind that appearances may be deceptive. Someone's appearance does not automatically imply that they are talented or competent in any given field. To try to approach individuals with an open mind and no preconceptions, it's necessary to understand that the halo effect might contribute to our assumption, the future. No matter how someone looks, you could be pleasantly surprised by their qualities and abilities. Story 20. Unattractive ladies who spend a lot of time on their looks and apply makeup to a pig get a lot of hate mail. There's this belief that you shouldn't even strive to look decent unless you're naturally gorgeous. Who do you think you are deceiving after all? You're going to stay ugly. Therefore, embrace your ugly self. You often see it aimed towards do you women use this website because you are not considered beautiful by others. You don't deserve to think of yourself as beautiful or to feel that way. Meanwhile, attractive women may spend excessive time on their looks and recording it with little resistance. It's alright since people like gazing at them. They like staring in the mirror a lot too. While there will undoubtedly be differing viewpoints on this subject, let's discuss narcissism and shallowness. Funny how different people respond to those that put emphasis on their looks. If you have good looks naturally, others will often overlook your attempts to keep them up and may even be supportive. But if you work hard to look well and aren't naturally gorgeous, people will typically call you shallow or conceited. It seems as if there is an unspoken rule that only attractive individuals should be concerned with their looks. Story 21. Interfering with readers. After spending years reading in coffee shops, I came to the conclusion that, except gorgeous girls, I was rude to everyone who attempted to talk to me. But that's a very good exam. Simply interrupt someone who is reading to watch how they react if you want to discover how beautiful you are in a neutral way. My sincere hope is that my partner won't read this. Considering how hard I tried to ignore him when I wanted to read, he'll probably think I'm a monster. If you've already started dating someone, I don't believe it matters. Story 22. For instance, a gorgeous man may look good wearing jeans to a semi-formal affair. Looks good, not to worry. An attractive man shows up in jeans to a semi-formal function and comes out as unprepared and lazy. To be really honest, I believe this strongly connects with how my stereotyped view of clothing fits. The handsome man dresses in exceptionally well-fitting pants, whereas the ugly guy just wears whatever his mother got him. People often don't seem to comprehend how much having clothing that fit well adds to being good. Story 23. Not a common viewpoint, but after observing drama in my buddy group over adultery, the typical man cheats, the female dumps him, and he never gives it another thought. I'm sorry, but gorgeous guys cheat again. Although she claims it's done, will she start seeing him again in a month or two? Most likely not. Many would readily confess it. They will all agree that cheating is wrong regardless of appearance. But from what I've seen, their behavior tells a different tale. You surround yourself with superficial people. I just cannot dispute that. It seems that the proverb looks can get you anything is true. Still has some truth to it. But in all seriousness, cheating is never acceptable, regardless of how attractive you are. It's horrible and unacceptable to treat someone you should care about in this way. Sure, some individuals may be more willing to forgive a heart cheater, but it doesn't make it right. So let's all pledge to act morally and not lie. Okay? Story 24. I eat much. I find eating a whole bag of chips amusing, but when you're obese, it's like, well, obvious.